Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Black Alchemy Podcast. My name is Carlos.
I'm Rachel.
And today in the studio, we have Tony Scott. Tony, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me. Thank you.
Having being here. We're excited and proud to have you here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and give us a quick synopsis about of your career, if you can?
We ain't got enough time. I've been blessed to do a lot, but I'm just me. Attorney, husband, grandfather, father, Marine Corps veteran, Q-Dog, Omega Man, author, speaker, leader, motivator. That's all me. And I say that with all due humility and deference to God for giving me the opportunity to be in so many spaces. But I'm just me.
Okay. How many kids and grandkids do you have, if you don't mind us asking?
Ooh, can we count all of them?
Please.
No, between my wife and I, we have 7 children, and that's including steps and halves and things of that nature. And grandkids, there's 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's incredible.
You know, those grandbabies, they do something to, the grandparents. My mother, I always tell her all the time, the way you raised us versus how you were with your grandchildren, that's a different story.
Complete difference.
We got a 2-year-old at the, she's not at the house, but like last night she was over and we had plans. They changed quickly and she just started running us around the house. And then when she left, we was just like, ooh, it's time to go to sleep. And then that second wind kicked in. When I say I was still up till 1 o'clock, just
That's
like this.
right.
It was her fault, daggone
it.
grandbaby.
Got
Okay.
it. Wow. That's
All right.
amazing.
Well, if you don't mind telling us a little bit about your entrepreneurial endeavors and how you got started with everything.
Sure. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that I got a 9 to 5 as well as a 5 to 9. That's the way I look at my world. Cuyahoga County. So I took that role on in August of last year.
Okay.
And that's the 9 to 5, which keeps me busy. I'm blessed to have the role. It's an opportunity to be impactful. That's what we do all this for.
Yeah.
And in the 5 to 9, I am an author and public speaker. And prior to that, I think I mentioned earlier, I'm an attorney. So started off doing my own private practice in 2013. Did that for a few years. And then from there, took a position with the city of Cleveland. Worked there for 13 years. And then, as I said, just recently switched. But the whole time that I had those roles, I still had a consulting practice open, and so I would work with small businesses, nonprofits, and really try to build into them, not just the legal side, but the governance, how do you make shrewd business decisions, networking, things of that nature. But then when I took this role, I was like, let me shut that down. It was too many, just not enough hours in the day.
Okay.
But with my writing, I kind of created a subsidiary. So the consulting was called ISI Consulting. So ISI from Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so shall a man or woman sharpen the countenance of their friend. And so from ISI Consulting, it then turned to ISI Publishing. And then that's the umbrella, if you would, that my fiction, my nonfiction, as well as the public speaking arm all exist through that. So it's been a journey. It's been a journey.
Got it. We're definitely going to get to the public speaking and to the fiction of it all. I would love to hear more about your book. With over a decade of public service experience, was there or when was the moment that you knew I picked the right career?
So you did, and I appreciate y'all sending the questions over for me. And that's one that didn't have a definitive answer because that means that there was just this one day that it all clicked. And I can't say that happened, right? I mean, it's an ongoing track. Some days you just know I'm in the right spot. You had the right opportunity. I talked to the right citizen, made something occur for them. And then there's those other 364 days where you just getting beat down all the time. So I don't know that there was a definitive moment, but I think at one point I just kind of looked back retrospectively and I was like, I can see the culmination of these things. It used to seem like everything was real disjointed and then it kind of all came together and I realized that it's service, right? Between my time in the military, my time practicing law, working with boards, things of that nature, working in specifically community development. All of that has a nexus of trying to be a service provider to people that look like us that don't always see us in those spaces and places. And being able to give back to them in a manner that they're not used to. Yeah. So that's what I said. It's kind of a culmination of moments, not just one grand epiphany one day.
What does the path look like for somebody who may be graduating high school and they, have aspirations to be an attorney one day? What does the educational path look like to get there?
I'm going to say it in a very linear, kind of minimalist perspective, and then I'll expound on it a little bit more. So it's basically you graduate, you go to college, you obtain a 4-year degree. You can then go on to grad school, should you choose to do that, even a PhD. I know some people who've done that as well, and then circled back to get a law degree. Alternatively, standard path, you get your 4-year degree, and then you go apply to law school. Prayerfully, they accept you. We can go into that. That didn't happen that linear for me. They accept you, and then you navigate what's traditionally a 3-year curriculum. Around your second year, you start looking for internships, externships, jobs. And that third year, you're just transitioning. You're starting to think about the bar. You're starting to think about where you're going to relocate to, what kind of avenue you want to start working in. You start thinking about those things. So in that space is where you have to be very strategic. Right. Be very strategic.
You've had a career that was built mainly by serving the community. What was the most rewarding part of working so closely with the public?
I think it's not a... I think I alluded to it in the last question. I think it's having an opportunity to be present, looking like us. I'm born in Cleveland, raised in East Cleveland. There wasn't a lot of us that are positioned where I'm fortunate enough to be now. I graduated in '90, so something about that year, a lot of us did go on and do great things, but that's not the common, that's not the norm, unfortunately. So being in positions where my resume actually, how do I want to say this? Well, I'm going to just say it. My resume, you can stack me up against anybody else. And I know how to code switch, but I know how to still maintain my humility and my authenticity. So I can go in there, Anthony W. Scott, Esquire, or I can be T. Scott. I can give you 5-syllable words or monosyllabic. And so for people that look like us to know that they can pick up the phone, call me, email me, I'm going to do my best to be responsive personally, not assistant or anything like that. I think that's the most impactful part. Sure, you want to get paid. I mean, clearly, public, you're not going to get, I don't make the same that I could make in my private capacity, but my spirit is edified more. Yeah. I kind of operate from what I call the 3 Ps: passion, purpose, paycheck. Whatever your job is, whatever it is. I mean, I know what you do. I know your world. I know how passionate. Have no idea what you do because you hide yourself. But I told you I was going to interview y'all back. But no, I know you're passionate about what you do. But if you had a job that you weren't passionate about, you got to at least find that passion, because if you can't even find that at a base level, you got to get out of there. Yep. But then your passion may not always be aligned with your purpose. So if you actually can find a space to work where you feel purposeful, you feel impactful, then that's the ultimate. That's the best place to be. Yeah. But then the paycheck, right? The paycheck. Sure, you want to be monetizable. You want to be paid your worth. But then it's not always the zeros in the bank account. It's the time you get to have with your spouse, with your children, the board you get to serve on, the coaching you get to do on the weekend. So that aligns with the work that I'm doing. And that continuous thought process is what makes the work impactful. If I feel like I'm not being impactful, I'm not living in purpose, I got to go somewhere else. Yeah. I got to go somewhere else.
I remember I tell all my mentees, I used to be a floor nurse at the VA Medical Center. Okay. And people would ask me, when was that moment when I realized, I wasn't feeling like I was serving my purpose at the hospital. And I would go there and I would have these days where I'm just like, leaving like, man, I don't really feel like I made an impact. Like it's just patient after patient, filling beds, giving med, just the day-to-day stuff. And I knew this field I was passionate about in the home care space. And so I tell my mentees now, like, where your purpose and your passion meet, provision will be made.
Amen.
You know, it'll all align. It'll be made for you.
Yes, sir.
And it's nothing. It's nothing. You can't really explain the feeling of getting up every day and honestly enjoying what you do.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I feel that.
So speaking of passions, you've written 3 books so far as an author. In your book, Unlocking Potential, you go over some mistakes and mishaps that you've had and that you've made and you've learned from ultimately. Can you share a couple of those mistakes or mishaps that you've...
From the rooter to the tutor.
Just one.
I mean,
So pick one.
right. No, I think, excuse me. I wasn't focused enough. For example, I tell people I'm the only person I know that failed 9th grade English and then has an English degree and then is an author.
Wow.
Clearly. And man, I failed out of college that first semester in record time. Nobody could beat that. But to give a little context, in my 9th grade year and my 12th grade year, I had the same teacher. Shout out to Regina Abernathy. She was the niece of Dr. Ralph Abernathy. So she came from that standpoint. I'm going to give you the literary canon, but I'm going to give you our black canon as well. Mm-hmm. And I didn't take that stuff serious. I was too busy trying to be cute. I had curly hair back then, and it was in the 90s.
Getting girls.
Yeah. So I'm eating lunch 3rd, 4th, and 5th period.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm at Upward Bound, and I'm in honors classes.
Okay.
So I wasn't focused. I had a natural God-given gift that I didn't take advantage of. And so from there, still had to go through summer school and then eventually got my stuff all together. I had the same teacher in 12th grade, so she got to see how it changed, how it turned around. And then also got to see me in the decades after in various capacities. And so it really comes down to the focus. And focus can be your mindset, it could be your goal setting, your time management, and just having a clear vision of what you want to do and being adaptable to pivot should that change. And so I think the lack of focus and just appreciating the resources that I had. In my case, it was first generation college, and so it wasn't really within the household that force. My father actually thought I made a mistake by leaving the Marine Corps, but I was adamant that I wanted to come home and finish my education. Mm-hmm. And before he passed, he got to tell me that he was wrong, so I appreciated that.
Yeah.
But it's that focus, just really being focused, and if I can add a 1.5, is building a village around you that can help you stay accountable, stay focused, help guide you. So we're talking about networking, we're talking about mentorship, as you mentioned. So building that, being receptive to that, and having a personal accountability to be like, oh, you kind of on some trash, bro.
Yeah.
And then step back and let somebody guide you differently, whether they can do it lovingly or they got to grab you by the scruff of your neck and throw you in the pit to make sure you get together.
So important.
So, yeah.
So we talk villages and community. That's something we talk a lot about here. Who are some of the people that you would say are those core members of your village, then and today?
Sure. Shout out to the missus. My wife is my best friend, sincerely. I ain't saying this because she going to beat me when I go home.
Blink twice if you need
Yeah,
help.
right. Well, actually, you've got to talk to Carmen as
She's
well.
really nice.
Yeah. So we're doing the home symposium panel at the end of the year. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how. So, but she's my rock. So she's definitely a core part. I mentioned I'm a Q, so a lot of my brothers are not just frat brothers, but they're brothers, they're family, they're mentors, or even mentees. I believe anytime you have an exchange, the reciprocal nature is a relationship.
Absolutely.
That's it. I mean, and as far as, I don't want to say that's it because I don't want to minimize it because I am blessed with a massive network. I think for me, the challenge was at some point I was so busy giving that I forgot to take back in.
Yeah.
And so I
Back into
started,
yourself.
or even Yes, but that's not, I didn't say it the way I meant it. So, but yes, you got to pour back into yourself. But meaning I had so many mentees, I didn't actively engage with mentors. And I had forgotten about it. And it's not from a place of hubris, like I don't need them.
Yep.
I just forgot. So like one person who I definitively asked, will you be a mentor? And that was Dr. Roland Anglin. He used to be the dean over at the Levine College of Urban Affairs, so that's where I got my master's from. But and he's still a professor in that regard. But I had to ask him. I mean, this is a man his career was massive and he was accessible. You know, we'll go and grab a drink or a cigar, and so it's not from that dry, bland place. It's like we really kick it.
Yeah, true relationships.
True, and that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Excellent distinction. The true relationship, not just the transactional exchange. So you actually build that relationship to where it's a mentor and not just a sponsor.
That's right.
And so he's someone who's presently still in my camp, if you would. And I mean, and it ebbs and flows. It ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that people that from the outside, because I'm not an entrepreneur yet, but
Amen.
that
Speak it into existence.
we look at you know, and say, wow, you've invested in yourself. Like, it's really easy to tell that someone is investing in themselves, investing in their career, and I thought that was really important. So I'm glad that you said that.
So I understand that you recently released a novella. Yes, Mrs. Smith. Can you tell us about that one?
Looking in the camera now.
Right.
To give a little context, a little backstory. So actually, and that's why I have my bag next to me. I have gifts.
Oh.
CJ, I didn't know you were here. I didn't bring you any gifts, but I'll get your contact information.
Now we
So,
get the book.
Yeah, not yes, Mrs. Smith,
Not that one.
but it's a copy of both books.
Oh, this is dope.
So, Rachel, with you getting ready to
Thank
or
you.
continuing to embark on your entrepreneurial journey, I think that first book would be of great value to you because that talks about it in the imposter syndrome and having the audacity to step out there. But those are the books that I started with. But actually, with both of those books, let me go back a little bit. I started working in a fiction space back in 2014.
Okay.
And it was a book called Raising Jeremiah. And although it's not biographical, it pulled from a lot of biographical points that I didn't have the emotional intelligence or a sound enough hold on my own mental health challenges to go into.
Yeah.
And so I pulled back, and that's when I started writing. It wasn't called this then, but that's when I started working on the first book, Unlocking Potential, Insights, Tips, and Strategies for Young Black Professionals.
Okay.
I think at that point it was just called something like Professionalism 101 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it took me forever to work on that. I didn't take myself serious. I didn't feel like who am I, right? Why ain't anybody going to listen to what I say?
Right.
And so from like 2016 to 2023, type a little, it just sits there. And then 2023, I started being serious about it. I started writing, and it started coming together, started making more sense. But I kept trying to figure out how to take all these abstract concepts and put it together in a synergy, if you would, or even a chronological manner. So I got stuck. And then eventually God gave me the epiphany of just do it alphabetically.
Yeah.
So it goes through things, appearance, authenticity, branding, career, DEI. That was fun writing that one in 2024 as the election was coming. I scrapped half that chapter because I was like, it's about to change.
Yeah.
So, but one of the chapters in that first book was imposter syndrome. And the more I started reading it, the more I started mastering my own mental health, started really taking myself more serious. And again, this is only like 2023 at this point. I'm already an assistant director, attorney, all these different things, but I wasn't as fulfilled and I wasn't as confident. And the resume said one thing, but I'm like, yeah, I ain't really that dude. I don't know what y'all looking at, but if you ain't figured it out, I ain't gonna tell you.
Right.
And so that's when I wrote that book, Overcoming Imposter Syndrome, You Belong at the Table. Passionate about both, still speak on imposter syndrome. This month, I've had probably 7, 8 different engagements or events about that. But there was always that other side. It was that other dude. So I don't hide the other works, but I don't promote them in the same capacity. You're not going to see Yes, Mrs. Smith on LinkedIn.
Right.
You know, now if you go on the link tree, you may find everything.
We'll find it on Amazon.
Yeah. Oh, it's there. I don't hide it.
Right now.
But I wanted to have fun, right?
Yeah.
You know, this stuff is so serious.
Yeah.
And you can have fun talking about it and so forth, and it's pouring back.
Yeah.
But I used to be a different guy. And so I said, let me go into that. And so, Yes, Mrs. Smith is actually the first book of a 3-part series. I actually just revealed the cover today of the second book because I'm working on that feverishly.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's on it's on there.
How soon do you think you're gonna drop it?
Hold it thought for 1 second. It's book 1 of a 3-part series.
Right.
Gotcha.
I'm working on 2 and 3 at the same time, and I'm at this point maybe this weekend that I can sit 3 to the side. The structure is built out. I don't need to do nothing, leave it there.
Okay.
But 2 is at the point now I'm starting to plug in dialogue, real conversations. I'm in the mirror talking to myself like, you don't even understand no more. I ain't that boy you first met, you know. Yeah, the microphone is going while I'm doing it. I'm keeping it real.
Yeah.
And so having said that, it's actually a 3-part series that's a single world inside of a 3-series universe.
Okay.
So to give context, I first started working on a series called Boundaries.
Okay.
And there were 2 characters within Boundaries that are kind of the villains. I was like, where'd they come from though? Why are they?
What's their story?
Are they completely human? Is there something paranormal about them? And so that created a concept called the Vault. And so the Vault is actually a paranormal sex club.
Oh.
So it's erotic horror.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm saying you can edit me if I'm doing too
love
much.
it.
I love it.
And so, but then, Yes, Mrs. Smith, little spoilers here. Yes, Mrs. Smith starts with Aaron, who is a college senior who does a charity auction. And a charity auction is held in the Vault.
That's that connect.
I love that.
That's how you tied in.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. Okay.
And so as I'm writing it, I'm like, do I veer in this direction? Do I just wink at it, or do I just stay clear of it?
Right.
And so the Vault is a 2-part series, but then when I release it collectively, I already know what the bonus content is. And it's I'm gonna just leave that there. I already know what the bonus content is.
Okay.
And then, so to the timeline, I'm gonna go, there's 3 more books that'll get released this year, and it'll be quarterly. So Meet the Sullivans will drop in Q2. The first book of The Vault will drop in Q3, and Q4 will be another fiction book, a nonfiction book, and that one is called Fitting 25 into 24, Time, Energy, and Boundary Management for High Achievers.
That's what's up.
So
Your dad's a pastor.
Yeah, keep it going.
I have
The readers want to know.
so I have had access to printers. And so I used to write on our family a PC fiction that I had no clue about. I really didn't know what I was talking about. Dialogue I got from like Tyler Perry plays, like the early ones or whatever, just trying to be funny and dialogue with my family and so on and so forth. And I wrote these fiction, like 1-page short stories or whatever. And I would put my friends in them and they would pay to be in them and so on and so on. I would sell them at school. And my mom found the plethora of documents that I had made and beat my butt because there was cussing and sex and fornicating and babies and death. And my mom was like, what are you doing? I'm like, it's just my imagination. I got my butt kicked for that. And I haven't written really since then. So that's
sad though. I mean, I certainly get why
Honors
that
English.
happened.
Honors English. Like
They were good.
Honors English.
They were really good.
They were.
I mean, you should. Do you still have?
No. She made me delete them one by one.
I think I think you're doing a disservice. This has been so cathartic to me. It is more time consuming than I expected. Between how hectic the 9 to 5 is and really trying to build out policies. Like our department's only 2 years old, so I'm at the ground floor. Yeah. So there's that in the current political climate. So there's already that challenge. But then being a parent, being involved with the bros, being involved in boards and things like that. But all that, to an extent, can be work. Right. But to actually sit here and be able to create these universes, I just rebranded my website, and I was like, I'm going to lean into this duality. So I actually, if you go on the cover page, it's I think it's the same professional photo for this and for the symposium, but the other is just me in a hoodie with a cigar in my hand. And I write about it as if it's two different people. So lean into that duality, because have fun with it. Yeah. If you've navigated all this, if I'm talking about how I've overcome imposter syndrome, at least navigated, then the next logical conclusion is authenticity. Yeah. So if I am authentically this person, I do embrace this duality, then let me lean into it. I have a tattoo where on my back is angel wings. It's a little bit more darker on the front. If you watch the comics or watch the X-Men movies, Avenging Angel or Archangel, so they were kind of like razor very sharp. I lean into that duality because all that is who I am. Yeah. And I try to, just represent that as best as possible. So,
So with everything that you're doing, the books, essentially establishing, and I almost want to say curating a department, if you will. Like, what does a typical day look like for you? Because I hear the 9 to 5, 5 to 9. Sure. It's only so many hours in a day. Like, what is it? Sure. Just walk me through the day.
Up at 6 almost every morning. Take 10 to 15 minutes. I'm at that age where I got to sit at the side of the bed for to think about it. Yeah, I'm thinking about it a minute.
What do I got to do?
Yeah.
Yes, another day.
Get up, bathroom, brush my teeth. Probably wouldn't take a shower that early because I'm still going to kick around a little bit. Get the dog up, feed her, get my cup of coffee. We sit down, and so she's sitting on my lap. Sometimes it's a TV show. Sometimes it's just on. I'm on the phone. I got the work phone here, got the personal phone here. Depending upon the day, maybe it's trying to do some content creation, or I write on Google Drive, and then when I can, I save it on Word so I don't lose it. So I'm constantly pulling up the phone, giving myself notes. Usually at the office by 9, leave at 5, and it could be a day of all meetings. It could be a day where I'm actually trying to create something, meaning create policy. Again, the federal landscape, we already know is challenging, but the funding is a challenge. It's not enough for the amount of need for housing that in our community, nationally, but in our community. So there's a lot of work going into that, trying to figure out how to convene resources, trying to leverage the relationships I have in the nonprofit arena, the foundation arena, the financial industry, things of that, trying to get them to the table so we can come up with programs that allow us to be more flexible than what the HUD regulations allow for. So that's a big part of every day at this point. So usually out by 5, might have an event that evening. The missus and I share calendars, so we're always either breaking apart or tag teaming things. So probably somewhere around 7, 8, we're tackling dinner. We might watch a TV show, usually some trash TV.
We need that. That's important.
Yes, balance.
Sometimes like, we can't be so serious throughout every day.
I agree.
I sat there and watched one of Medea's movies, which I haven't watched in forever. After that one was like, bye, Rain. I was a kid. I snuck in. I snuck right back out. And this one wasn't particularly great. It was Medea's funeral, but I saw some of the actors that I know from some of the other shows. I'm like, oh, this is Andy from Sisters. Or this is the one from Ruthless. It's trash.
Man, that show was wild.
I finally gave up.
Man, I think I tried like 2-3 episodes. I was like, this ain't for me.
It was like 5 seasons, but they were like, those were 2 days. I was like, what?
In 2 days?
It was like they drag on. He's like, well, you want to watch somebody change their socks for 15 minutes? So I gave up on that. But, something like that. And then the missus might doze off and I pull the phone back out. And again, writing. I was reading a lot when this, I think one of the questions I'm kind of jumping ahead, but talked about what have you read. So I think I had knocked out 3 books so far this year. It was one by Masterpiece, it's a sister, J.R. Morgan, sister had a book. And then one of my mentees is an author as well, Amir Ward, Kingpin Gemini. Shout out to the Deuces Rule. And so his work, I'm always mad at him. I'm like, why are you working on that character? I hate that character. Like Cupid. I'm like, kill Cupid. I tell him all kind of vile, disgusting ways that he should let me write the chapter to kill him.
So this is how I would do it.
Yeah. He was like, ew. I forget what that show is. Like, damn. So I just want to kill Cupid. But he's got the other book about Cain, and I thought he was going to drop it December 28th, and I missed that it was December 28th, 2026. I'm like, man, that's some crap.
You got some time to go.
Right. So, but all of that in there, and then somewhere between 11:30, 1 o'clock, go to sleep and rinse, repeat.
All over.
Yeah.
As far as writing goes, do you find that it's harder now to pull yourself out of that writing space? Is it something you said that you kind of want to just dive in and kind of like envelope yourself into this passion of yours? Is it hard to pull yourself out of your universe right now?
You mean, I want to be clear, when you say universe, meaning a specific...
the fiction.
Oh,
and writing, as far as the process goes.
No. I'm very good at compartmentalizing.
Okay.
Again, beside all of this, I know I seem all over the place, but I'm actually extremely regimented in how I move. I live off my calendar. And so it's not uncommon for me to say on this day at this time, this is content. And even in the description, I may even be that much more granular. I'm working on content for this particular thing, this upcoming event, this particular book, things of that nature. And then, but sometimes I do lose track. So again, if you remember the chronology, there was boundaries, which then gave way to the vault. I put boundaries to the side, realizing that the vault was so much more open. It became a nexus. It may have been the second concept, but it became the nexus of that plus so many other things. And the vault is actually anthologies. So there's actually about 9 stories between the 2 books.
Okay.
So each one has its own thing. It's kind of like the old Creepshow movies or things like that, where there's that unifier, but you don't know what the unifier is.
Yeah.
But so that pushed boundaries to 27, 28. But then, yes, Mrs. Smith came or More Time Than Money. That's the series. More Money Than Time. Sorry. That's the series. And in doing so, that kind of pushed the vault to the side. But then now I compartmentalize. I'm working on this part, then I'm working on this part. And then so just again, it became very regimented, very precise, very specific. But sometimes you want to just keep doing the one thing, like, I can't. So, but again, that's why I get up a little bit earlier or stay up a little bit later than the missus. And some days just shut it down altogether. I can write on the plane. But when we land, you better put that phone down. So it's something like that, though.
Discipline.
Although I did write another book when I was on the plane. We ended up coming back from Puerto Rico for New Year's. And I ended up writing like 40 pages on my phone between the 2 flights. But I've left it alone. It's there. It'll come out next year. I'll go back to it, and it's completely unrelated.
Okay.
Awesome. What legacy do you hope to leave behind?
There's a quote that I love. I live by it. And it was from the great Negro poet, Tupac Shakur. He said, I may not change the world, but I guarantee you I've already touched the life of the one that will.
That's good.
And that's a guiding light for me.
Awesome.
I had a chance, a brief segue, promise it'll be brief. I had a chance to speak at New Direction Church recently. And part of what I wanted, and it was for their MLK service. And I wanted people to think about that, not diminishing the works of Dr. King by any respect, but appreciate who he was at 25 in a dual parent household, already had his PhD, already was a pastor, was already integral in the civil rights movement. 25, Malcolm X was still Detroit Red. So you look at Tupac when he died at 25, and as prophetic and profound as he was, he hadn't mastered his duality yet. And he'll say it. So I think about that, being able to come from, I won't say the muck and the mire. I didn't have the worst life coming up. I don't want to paint that picture, but it has dark spots, right? It has blotches. So being able to come from out of that and use that to be able to inspire someone else, to be impactful, to be genuine, sincere, authentic, and to be able to give that to them, I mean, that's the impact I want to, on my epitaph, I always say, you got your alpha, your omega, what would that dash do? And so that dash needs to, I needed to be that there's some spaces and faces that I left an impact on. That's what's important to me.
So you just touched a little bit on, upbringing and your personal situation. For those young adults, teens, or, young boys out there who may not be in situations where they have resources or the support that's necessary to thrive, what advice would you give them?
I mean, it's there. It really is there, but I can remember feeling like it wasn't. There's days I ain't want to be here the next day. So that's a reality. We have mental health challenges in our family. It took me into my 40s before I started doing the work to identify what my diagnoses were. What we were talking about earlier, knowing your triggers. And so I look with so much empathy and sadness at our young people that don't know the resources are there. They don't know, and everything is so immediate, right? Instant gratification. The me-isms are so profound that you have immediate access to things on social media that they take hold. They're seeds, right, that grow. And so it points you in a path where you're not looking for those positive resources. You're not looking for what's uplifting, because what's uplifting, what's positive takes a little while longer, and you ain't gonna be as shiny, right? You the average kid working in McDonald's or Foot Locker, which were my jobs coming out of, or not Foot Locker, I worked at the movie theater, Severance movie theater. We weren't driving in Benzes. We were walking or catching a bus, and our parents didn't have a car to let us use. And when they did, it sure as hell wasn't the Benz. So we want to do more for our kids, and we give them these opportunities, but somewhere we lost some of creating that thirst where they know to go out and look for it. So again, my family, God bless their dad, because both my mom and dad are gone at this point. They didn't know how to point me in the right spaces, but my village, I mentioned Upward Bound. That was probably a transitional experience for me, being at Case Western Reserve's Upward Bound, living on a college campus, seeing people that look like us, hearing affirmations. I mentioned Regina Abernathy, my English teacher. I still to this day remember a conversation. I remember what it was about, and I said, I'll skip what I said because it'll take more context, but at the end of the day, she had looked at him, she was like, that boy is mature. And I mean, and that said so much to me, that you said that. And you the same one that failed me 3 years ago.
Just 3 years ago.
Even though it was me, right? I failed myself. But so it's so to be more succinct, too late. To be more direct is they don't necessarily know the resources are out there. So that's why it's incumbent upon us as mentors, as men, as women, as leaders. Whether you accepted the mantle, whether you sought it out, it's there. It's there on you and in you, unless you just let this cup pass from you. You adamant you ain't taking it. But you got to guide them. I did a thing called Becoming JD, and it's an attorney, Anthony Denmark, who's created this platform where he has all kind of resources to guide us people of color, guide us into and through the legal profession. So I spoke on his platform sometime last year, and just yesterday, as a matter of fact, got connected with a young guy, Ray, out of Chicago. And so we already had got a chance to chop it up. Turns out I know some of my brothers are in Chicago. We'll be able to see him when I go down there. So it's just building these little villages. You can pull out 30 minutes of your day to give to somebody. And that's how you just, with that 30 minutes is how you just guide them to the resources. But it's a labor, but it's a gift. It's a blessing too.
I totally agree. I feel like pouring into the youth at this point is so imperative. They have things like you said, like Instagram, that that immediately that fix that they want. It's so important to pour back into them. I've been wrecking my brain. I have a 9-year-old, so I'm trying to figure out now how I can still stay the loudest voice that she hears in her head, to not get so riled up by what she sees on the screen. Which is why we took the screen away during the week. And what she hears from people all around her, like in school and so on and so forth, is really important to me that, her parents are the loudest voice that she hears. And also, I've also thought about taking her to these college fairs. I know she's really, really little, but just to give her a sense of, look what's out here. Like, okay, well, I can do this and go to college, or I can do that and go to college. And trying to start early and plant those seeds, like you said, so that she can be successful and know that, okay, I have a foundation of, my education, my parents, like I'm different. So just wanted to say that.
The one thing I would caution you on, respectfully, is you already probably aren't the loudest voice. And you got to be okay with that. And I'm not suggesting you're going to be okay. I'm not suggesting it's easy. Let me be clear. I'm not minimizing it, but there's going to be a time when it's not. So it's okay if you're not that voice here, but to always be that voice there. And to, as best as possible, do what you're doing to engulf your daughter in people that are more in line with her, that are doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
But to find that balance between you going.
Oh no.
That was so loud.
I can't. It's okay. I can't tell her anything like that. Anyway, she's so like. Shout out to Harlem Rose. Hey, babe. But yeah, I understood. Yeah, completely. And I'm open to being wrong anytime, especially when it comes to her, because I've never been a parent before her. So I'm open to criticism, open to being wrong. So
just keep navigating it.
Yeah,
I screw up all the time. I'm sure my kids would be here with a laundry list of things that I done screwed up.
Speaking of laundry lists,
right.
Can you talk about feeling burnt out and what you do to reset, to kind of cope with your burnout?
The worst burnout I think I felt was last year. Again, I mentioned as much as I can, maybe more than I should, being in a public role, but I talked about the political landscape.
Right.
And we had a level of hope, right? We had a level of hope, but we had a true level of skepticism approaching the 2024 elections.
Yes.
Project 2025 and how it was a movie Usual Suspects. There was a line that said the greatest trick the devil ever did was convincing people he didn't exist. So if you think about the whole campaign of 2025, Project 2025, blueprint, manifesto is there.
It's right in our face.
Willie Lynch 2025, right there on the table. Wasn't me. So this saying, wasn't me. Wasn't me.
Right in our face.
And for those that did not fall for that, knew it was about to change things. And so there was a fear being in a public space of what that looks like. And so that's 2024. Let's appreciate right now it's 2026. and SNAP's been cut,
Yep.
right? Let's look at who is the Secretary of Education and what that looks like now.
Yep.
Professions that our community predominantly went into, social
DEI.
work, DEI. Like I told you, I eviscerated that whole chapter. If you get to that in the book, the things that talked about structuring a DEI program and how to be inclusive, I gutted that.
Yeah.
But what I did is that here's our reality now.
Yep.
And here's what, and I can already talk about what our responsibility is. Where we have to try to create opportunities for others. And I don't mean to the point of you're being so blinded, you're so biased that you're just setting aside opportunities without truly looking at credentials. I'm talking about still providing access. I'd gotten a communication from a local school, and they asked me some recommendations for an adjunct. I thought of one of my mentees. He got the call, he got the job. Looks like me, looks like us, love them. Glad for that opportunity.
Yeah.
So having said that, to the actual question of the burnout, is we saw all that coming. And at the time I was the assistant director of community development for the city of Cleveland. And we were waiting on our allocations from the federal government. And Congress didn't go through the voting process and make the necessary allocations until maybe 4 to 6 months late. So there was actually concern about being laid off. You know, in that role that I was in, about 95% of our salaries came from those HUD allegations. So people were jumping ship left and right.
Yeah.
But there are also people who work in this space that anywhere else you go is going to have largely the same funding source anyway. So there was a lot of despair at that time. There was a lot of frustration. And it was hard. It was hard. And I don't know that I have a good way of saying how I navigated out of that. You know, again, I was the assistant director. We had almost 80 staff members under us. I had a director and another assistant director. And we had to try to figure out how to try to uplift them. So we can't go home and be in our most miserable state, right? When we need to go home and figure out how to feed them the next day. So like I would send memes every Wednesday, call it Uplift Wednesday, and it'd just be little things to try to inspire them. Talk about leadership, talk about understanding the people we serve and staying focused on that instead of just our own misery, but still acknowledging like, I know y'all feel kind of toe up, you know? So that was a tough time. It was probably more cigars and Woodford than there should have been during that time.
Shout out to the reserve. Time is now.
right. But we made it through, you know, and I still talk to a lot of that staff during that time period. They're still navigating some of the challenges because it's not like we on the other side of it.
Right.
We still got
we got a ways
shout
to
out
go.
to my people in Minnesota.
Absolutely.
One of my boys is a teacher there, and I've had to reach out to him periodically, like, how are y'all? He like, bro.
Yeah.
So, all right, now that that got dark.
What would you say to the people that inspire you, your village, your wife, people that you consider family? What would you say to them if you could talk directly to them?
I guess it would be throwing new questions out there.
Yeah.
I think it would
Curveball.
I think it would be hold on. I think it would be hold on.
Oh, you might make me cry.
I mean, it's a tumultuous time, and I don't want to even delve into that anymore. We already talked about that enough.
Yeah.
But we know who our blessings are from, right? We know that there's more. Just got to work a little harder. I mean, and that's it, right? Sometimes it's fair, unfair, right, wrong, indifferent. Sometimes you just got to work a little harder. We as people of color are not strangers to the concept of working twice as hard to get half as much.
Yeah.
And we just have to keep doing that because it's not just about us. You know, parents, grandparent, mentors, leaders, educators, healthcare practitioners, we've taken on mantles, right? We've taken on responsibilities, whether we asked for it or not, whether we sought it, whatever is there. So just hold on a little bit longer, understanding that a little bit longer is relative.
Yeah.
Tomorrow can seem like decades away,
Yes.
but yesterday always is just yesterday when you look back at it. Yesterday don't feel like lifetime ago. It's only tomorrow. And so in that space, just hold on, keep pressing towards it, keep doing your thing. One of the lines, I think I can say this without getting beat up by the bros, but one of the things we say is rest, the end of a poem. It says, rest if you must, but don't you quit. And so take that time. You know, when I leave here, I'm going to meet with one of my bros who wants to talk about ironically, a podcast in my professional capacity, but we're going to meet at the cigar lounge and we'll be able to break bread, have a cocktail, have a cigar. So there's some relaxation in the midst of the work, but it still moves the agenda forward. So just hold on. Hold on.
Well, Tony, I want to personally, on behalf of Rachel and I and the crew here at the pod, thank you for coming on. You definitely have to come back. To the listeners, the viewers, we will catch you on the next episode of the Black Alchemy Podcast.
Thank you.